Hi, this is Ashley.
And Maggie.
Okay, we're not doing it like that. Are you ready for real this time?
Yes, as long as you don't put me down for my needs of chapstick.
Sorry. Chapped lips. Okay. Hi, this is Ashley.
And Maggie.
And you're listening to The Watering Hole, a place where animals and animal enthusiasts regularly drink. Every episode, we'll talk about different animals and why they're cool. From basic biology to the threats they faced.
Past tense.
From basic biology to the threats they face and what people are doing about it. All while under the influence. I just overcame the biodiversity crisis in a second. They don't face them anymore.
All we had to do was put it in past tense.
That's all we had to do. Scientists, what are you doing? Just put everything in past tense. It makes it sound like we solved it. Whew, well, welcome back to the couch, Maggie.
Thank you
Your
so
pants
much.
match.
I know.
Couch for our audio listeners, my couch is green, as are Maggie's pants.
Yeah, so apparently I didn't realize this, but I really like the color green on clothing.
Oh.
And I didn't realize this until like 3 days in a row. I was wearing bright emerald green to the dog park. And our mutual friend, Alan, was just like, wow, you really like green, don't you? I was like,
I guess I do.
It's
a great color.
And then we went to a brewery and I got that t-shirt that was also green and I didn't want it.
Have you worn it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
It's really nice.
I thought it was nice. I did like the other color better, but
I know.
I
did too.
It's weird because I like green, but I very rarely wear green. I'll wear seafoam green.
You love a seafoam.
I love a seafoam. I once went hiking and I realized that my jacket and my backpack and like my hat were all different shades of it was like 50 shades of seafoam green, and I was like,
So I was paddleboarding the Colorado River last week. And I noticed that my water bottle, my shoes, and my paddleboard were all the same color of not seafoam green, but like teal green.
Oh, my sister's a big teal. My new puffy is a teal.
Ooh, you might have to show me later.
I will.
Because clearly I love that color.
You're a big fan. No, I highly recommend. I do like teal. It brings out my eyes.
Oh.
So, the other color I'm really into is burnt orange. As seen by my chairs, which you can't see
it's on the other side of the cameras. Most of them. And it's in your dog.
Anyway, it's also the color of my dog. It's also the color of my, there's one pillow that's over there. That's
also out of camera
burnt orange. My bedding is burnt orange. I have a jacket that's burnt orange. I have shoes that are burnt orange. I used to have a pair of pants that are burnt orange, and I have a hat that's burnt orange. So really...
you're into the earth tones.
I do. I am an earth tone. But then also, like, velvet tones.
I mean, that's a texture.
I know, but I feel like there's certain colors that are associated with velvet. Anyway,
welcome back.
Yes, something we need to address immediately.
Oh my God, I know exactly what it is, and I hope our audience is curious as well.
What was in my fucking ceiling?
So
it'll have been 2 episodes because we recorded 2 episodes that night. How we got through it, I'll never know. With partial audio is one of the answers.
I know.
Apologies. Again, this may be a podcast, but we don't get paid for it, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm not an audio engineer. I'm a video producer. It's different. But so what was in my ceiling?
Yeah.
I will say it was not a raccoon. Which is very upsetting. So to recap, 2 episodes ago in episode 37, like a worm, Maggie and I were sitting here on the couch, and all of a sudden it sounded like a picture frame fell off a wall, and I was like, that's weird, because there was nothing on my walls in my bedroom or my bathroom. So we went to investigate. But for those who don't know, I have a really horrible rodent phobia, specifically rats and mice, in areas where they're not supposed to be. So we heard it. We've probably posted videos at this point of it was clogging in my ceiling. It sounded like Ollie was running around in my ceiling.
We thought it was multiple animals or just a giant raccoon because of how much noise. It was like when the Goonies are banging on the pipes underground to get attention. That's what it sounded like.
That's what it was. It was insane. So luckily, Maggie let me sleep at her apartment that night because I would not have been able to sleep in there.
Absolutely not.
And so the best thing, 2 big dogs, my dog's tiny, 2 dogs in the apartment. Neither of them noticed it at all.
Did a damn thing.
Didn't even look at the ceiling.
No.
Wild. So the next day I came home, and at like noon, a maintenance person came, was like, heard you have a rat. I'm like, yeah. So he came in, and I was explaining to him how loud it was. He's like, are you sure it wasn't your neighbors moving furniture? And I was like, absolutely not. And luckily Maggie had taken video, so like I played him the recording so he could hear it. So he's like, okay, I'll have to go into this vent that's in your ceiling, but I need to go get a ladder and like something to cover your bed so like I don't get pieces everywhere. So he left at this was at noon, and I'd only like heard it a little bit, but it was daytime, so I was like, whatever it is, it's probably asleep or tired, or like I heard it like shuffle a little bit. My biggest fear was that it was gonna be gone and that they'd just be like, well, it's not there.
Right.
But so he left. Then at 2:30 he finally comes back. It's been 2.5 hours. He was very nice. They were all very nice. So he comes back, he's in the room, and he's like, he puts everything down, and the door's closed the whole time. And so I'm like trying to work from home. He has opened the vent and is looking around, and I can hear him make a phone call. And this is where I truly regret taking French in high school because he was speaking Spanish. I was just like, I want to know what you're saying. Because then he clearly hung up on that call and then called somebody else. And I was like, why are you making so many phone calls? He comes back out and he's like, I'll be right back. I have to go grab something. That something was 2 other men. So then there are 3 grown men in my room.
I'm going to need some help.
And I can hear them all talking again. They're all talking in Spanish, so I don't exactly know what's going on. But then I do hear one of them go, take a picture of it. I was just like, wait, what?
Oh my God.
And so by the time they come out, I'm in my kitchen, and the main guy comes out, and he's like holding a big trash bag. And I was like, so what was it? And he goes, so it was a rat. He's like, it's right here in the trap. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's still alive. And I'm like, you need to leave my apartment, sir.
Immediately.
But I was like, I was like, that was a lot of noise. How big was it? And he like wouldn't tell me. I was like, cool.
It was big enough that he needed 2 people worth of backup.
Right? He needed backup. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, we set a bunch of traps in there. And I was like, okay. He's like, we don't know how it got in. Like, we'll send somebody next week to like do a check, which they did. And they were like, yeah, we don't know either. And I was like, this makes me feel worse.
Yeah.
But then the best was they left. And I was like updating Maggie this whole time. And you texted me, and you're like, make sure they close up that vent that they had to go through. And I was like, haha, like, yeah, of course, like, looks secure. And then, this is a Friday, and so, like, that night, I was, like, looking at it, I was like, that looks loose. Like, it doesn't look secure. And granted, there's nothing in there now, but, like, who's to say something doesn't come out? So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking duct tape it closed. So I set up my camera because I'd, like, documented some of like what had happened. So I was like, okay, this will be a nice closing chapter. So I set my phone up as I'm taping the vent closed, and I go to tape it, and it falls on my head.
I
know. And I like,
you can't write a better story.
I was just like, I don't know. We can post it because it falls on my head. My mom thought I fell off the chair. No, I just jumped and ran. And then you can hear me, and I go, no! Like, I was just, like, at this point, it's, like, 8:30 on a Friday night. And maintenance didn't come when the rat was in my ceiling. They're not going to come put this, like, now I have a giant hole on a Friday night in my ceiling.
I couldn't believe when you sent me that video that the vent falls open onto your head.
Oh, my neck was so sore, like, the next 3 days.
Sad.
I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that was a heavy fucking vent that fell on my head.
I can't believe it. So when did they come fix that?
So luckily, I called and I talked to a very nice woman for, like, our emergency maintenance, and she, by the sounds of it, it sounded like she was going to send someone to, like, that night. Like, it sounded like she understood that I could not have an open vent in my bedroom after
where
there'd been
a rat previously
had been.
was less than 24 hours prior.
So that's what I thought, hung up the phone, and like 10 minutes later, not even, I get a call from this woman who had helped me earlier in the day with like the maintenance guys coming and going and stuff like that. And she was like, hey, just so you know, I saw your maintenance request come through and they did not put it in as an emergency. So they weren't going to come tonight, but I saw it, so I switched it to emergency, so someone should be over in like the next.
Bless you.
Oh, I was like, Charlotte, I love you so much. Thank God. I would have just sat there till like 11 o'clock and I would have just slept on my couch. Like I wouldn't have slept in the bedroom either. I guess I'm never living in my bedroom again.
Oh my God.
So then he came and he screwed it closed. Sealed up now. And I haven't heard anything since.
Wow. So that's the drama of your apartment and rodents.
Yeah.
The world's biggest rat was in your ceiling.
It must have been gigantic. It had to be huge.
It was like grandfather rat.
It was, yeah. So I don't love that they don't know. Like, I wish they were just like, oh, it got in through this hole and we patched it up. The fact that they don't know how it got in is like, I'm not a fan of magic rats. Like,
really? Maybe your upstairs neighbors put it in like some kind of hole.
Speaking of my upstairs neighbors.
Because they're gems. Let me tell you.
So Maggie went up to ask them if they had heard anything, and apparently they're kind of assholes.
Yeah. Hope they see this.
Yeah. Sorry, that was definitely a longer intro than intended, but I felt like it was necessary.
Yeah, to explain what happened those last 2 episodes, what those noises were.
You can hear it, too.
Mm-hmm, you can.
What the fuck were you doing?
There's a mosquito on your wall.
Oh, really? What the fuck? Also, I think all the ants have grown wings.
Oh, I have an ant situation now, too.
I'm sorry. Did Argos bring... I watched Argos the other week. Did he bring home ants?
He might have. Oh, you just looked at me. Hello.
Hi, Ollie.
Oh.
Hello. Please pet me.
Smally Ollie.
Please pet me.
You're so small.
Please pet me. I'm so alone.
Anyway.
Should we talk about animals? It's been a minute.
We should talk about animals that aren't the rats in my ceiling. But, are you ready for my clue?
Yes, the clue that you came up with 3 seconds before we started recording.
Well, it will be a good clue.
That was very Alexis of you.
Okay, I'm going to switch my animal because we had such a long intro.
Okay. You don't like that? You don't like that animal?
No, I like them both, but like you'll understand why I wanted to put another episode. Whatever, fuck it. Okay.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Okay. Are you ready?
I have been.
For this animal that I restarted all the cameras, right?
Yes.
This animal, this is your clue. Your one and only.
Oh God.
I can give you what?
If I don't get it, I'm going to be so discouraged because I haven't gotten the last several of your animals because they've been so obscure and I don't know them.
Yeah, you're not going to get this one. But that's okay. Unless you saw the same meme that I saw.
Oh God, okay.
That's like an extra hint. Okay, this is an animal that looks like a child's drawing has come to life.
That's like a lot of animals. Are you going to tell me, is it a mammal?
It's a reptile.
This looks like a child's drawing has come to life.
It's kind of another worm-like animal.
First of all, I hate / love that since we started this new like season era of recording, almost every episode I mentioned basilisk.
Could you imagine if I had done basilisk? I didn't. I could be like, it's a mammal. Is it a basilisk? They have mammal tendencies. Not a basilisk.
Another thing I've noticed though, before I get to your hint, is like obviously when we're editing,
vamping.
Is when these what am I doing?
Vamping, like killing time.
Is that what that means? Vamping. I just thought it meant like looking real broody.
No, like if like a band is vamping, they're just like playing the same thing over and over and over again until it's time to go. Okay. In jazz and popular music, a short, simple introductory passage usually repeated several times until otherwise instructed. Also, the upper front part of a boot or shoe.
Anyway, when we're editing our episodes, I've just been listening to myself and like catching all of the things that I say that are incorrect or just stupid. I'm like, wow, definitely tired and drunk.
Listen, you gotta get to the point where I'm like no longer care. I'm just like, well, at least you didn't say so 60 times. You only said it 30 times.
Well, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I was thinking about it last episode. I was just like, wow, I really got that wrong, didn't I?
Listen, no one's coming here for accuracy. And if they are, you should turn off this podcast
Immediately.
right now. Okay.
Okay, it looks like a child's drawing has come to life. It's a reptile.
Reptile.
I don't know. It's got a long nose.
No. I'm sorry, but what reptile has a long, I guess, like a crocodile or something.
One of those caimans that have the like long, skinny, specific.
Be a great animal to do.
Any other hint would be real useful.
I also said I recently saw it in a meme, but if you're not following the same accounts that I'm following.
Yeah, what are the odds?
I don't really know what other clue to get. I don't think you'll get it.
Okay, fine.
It's the Arabian sand boa.
Who the fuck? Who the fuck is that?
You don't know? Well, let me tell you.
The Arabian sand boa?
The Arabian sand boa, which don't look up a picture yet. Hold your horses. Okay, so
your Arabian horses.
Arabian night. Okay, sorry. Quick side note. Most underrated song in all of Disney music is Jafar's reprise in Aladdin. Do you know what song I'm talking about?
His
It's like only a minute long, and I wish it was a full musical number.
Okay.
I can take this out, but
when is he singing?
Oh, I will show you.
Oh, is it the one where he's like,
It's the Prince Ali reprise.
Yes. Yeah.
Ali, is it he, but not as you know him. Read my lips and come to glimpse with reality.
Yeah.
Yes, meet a blast from your past.
Whose lies were too quick at the last.
Say hello to your precious Prince Ali.
Ali? But Jasmine, I tried to tell you.
Only a minute and 6 seconds. Easily one of the best Disney songs in existence. It's
very
so
clever.
Good. Anyway, I was thinking about that today, so it fits in with this Arabian sand boa, Arabian Nights.
So is this what Jafar turns into?
No.
Okay, all right.
There is no other connection other than I happened to be thinking about it today.
Okay.
But, so the Arabian sand boa, or its Latin name, Eryx jariacari.
Okay.
It's a species of snake endemic to the Arabian Peninsula and Iran.
Cool. Only Iran.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
You don't believe me?
I believe you, but like why the Arabian Peninsula and then Iran?
Well, maybe because it was Wikipedia. Yeah. Okay, so it's a member of the Boidae family, so the family of boas. You may know their well-known cousin, the boa constrictor. But this guy is actually relatively small compared to like the boas you usually think of.
Okay.
They're only 38 centimeters or 15 inches.
That's really not that long.
So just a little over a foot. Pretty small. Mm-hmm. They're in the subfamily Eracinae. So these are old world sand boas. And there are 18 species of sand boa, old world sand boas in Europe, Asia, Africa, Arabia, Central and Southwestern Asia, India, Sri Lanka, and Western North America.
Can you remind us what old world means?
I only know it in old world is usually, I only know the difference of like old world monkeys and new world monkeys, where like old world monkeys are in Africa and new world monkeys are like the new world in the Americas.
Well, you just described every continent but the Americas.
I know. So I don't know what...
Okay. That's fair. That's enough.
Well, I'm looking at it now, and they're all technically... So old world is basically just not the Americas. So
okay.
It's the Eastern Hemisphere.
Okay.
But then apparently there's some in Western North America.
Maybe that's not true because it's Wikipedia.
Yeah. So what do they look like? They are a yellowish... Snake. They look like a snake. They look like a worm, which is why I didn't want to do them, because I did Sicilians only 2 episodes ago.
That's okay. It's 2 episodes ago.
But whatever. These are reptiles, not amphibians. They are, in fact, a snake. They're a yellowish gray or like a sandy brown color. Think sand.
Oh, yeah.
And they're speckled with like these dark banded marks. So they've got like a pattern on the top.
Yeah.
They have a very blunt wedge-shaped snout, very flat. And then this is really what just drives them home.
Oh.
Is that they have these very small eyes located on the top of their head that look like googly eyes. So now is the time that you may Google
All right.
Arabian sand boa. Because it literally, I saw it and I was like, I don't think this is real.
So I'm thinking of your clue in which you were like, it's a kid drew it. Aw, that's really, really cute.
But doesn't it look like, because when you think like a snake.
It looks like a two-dimensional kid drawing.
Yeah.
With 2 eyes on the top of its head.
Because like most snakes, you think eyes are, most animals.
But they need to be there because he probably hides in the sand.
Because he burrows into the sand.
And
he just has these little eyes that stick out.
Little periscopes.
But don't they look ridiculous? It literally looks like somebody, like kid was like, this is how you draw a snake.
What a
just
short,
put him right on the top.
What a short little snoot.
Right?
You have there.
They're very cute. Sometimes when I like play with Ollie's face, I realize today he can kind of look like an Arabian sand boa.
Perfect.
Because like if I squish his face so his eyes are like very like seem like very front facing.
His eyes are very bulgy.
They're very bulgy. But okay, have you ever seen like people will Photoshop animals if they had front-facing eyes instead of eyes on the side?
That's what this looks like.
It's so upsetting.
So what meme were you looking at that showcased this?
I don't remember. I was just like scrolling through Instagram and it was some account that I followed and it was like something along the lines of if a snake drawing, like a child's drawing of a snake came to life.
Wow.
And I was like, is that really real? And it is. But yeah, so the reason that they have these eyes on the top of their head is because they spend most of their time buried in the sand. They're largely nocturnal and will bury themselves in the sand during the day and then slowly move toward the surface toward dusk at nighttime. And then they also, that's part of the reason why they're so short and stout.
Steadfast, strong.
Yes, but it's because they're easier to bury their body in the sand since it's not as long. But their eyes are just what's showing when they're usually buried under the sand so that they can quickly, the article I was reading said quickly pounce on passing prey. I never think of a snake as pouncing. Do you?
No, I think of it as
like a
striking.
Striking. It's an in and out kind of action. But yeah, so they'll quickly strike at a variety of small creatures, like apparently these are some of them: short-fingered geckos, bollock rock geckos, and worm lizards. So, very good gecko noise. Remember Greg the gecko?
Oh, Greg!
When Maggie and I were in Kenya, every morning you go to the bathroom and like behind there's like a little like pipe thing in the wall.
That was exposed.
That was an exposed pipe, and there was always a gecko that was hanging out in it. Sometimes it would run out from behind the toilet and scare me, but you often would see him just
still sleeping in the morning.
Just his little tail hanging out of the pipe.
His tail would just be hanging out of the pipe. It was really cute.
It was really cute. Sometimes he'd join you in the shower. Wasn't a fan of that, but you know, he made the bathroom his home. Anyway.
Oh my God. He was like, this is a nice wet place.
He's like, these people are nice. So they eat a variety of different smaller reptiles. They aren't venomous, so they rely on this kind of hiding and striking tactic in order to catch their prey, and they also have a very strong jaw. But once they catch their prey, they are like other boas, and they do constrict and strangle their prey until they are dead to eat. In terms of reproduction, unlike other boas who are viviparous, so they give birth to just tiny little boas.
Yeah.
They are oviparous, so they lay eggs. They usually lay between 4 and 12 eggs that hatch after 2 months at 33 degrees Celsius.
It has to be just above freezing.
Yeah.
Nope.
Is this one of the moments where you watch and go, wow, I was really wrong?
At least in this moment, we immediately got it.
I just went with it too. I was like, no.
Nope.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, okay. No. Because they are in the desert. It's pretty warm. 33 degrees Celsius.
Wait,
Okay.
what is it?
Wait. Us Americans, we are terrible with this conversion.
Obviously.
So is the rest of the world because we do everything differently.
It's stupid.
I'm going to guess.
Fahrenheit is stupid. That's what's
Fahrenheit is stupid. Yeah. Okay, 33 degrees Fahrenheit is probably like 110 or higher.
91.4.
Oh, okay.
Still pretty hot.
Really hot.
Gotta keep it hot. And other than that, I don't have a lot more information.
I love it. Do they slither sideways
I actually don't know.
on the sand?
I don't know that they move a lot. I mean, obviously they'll have to move some, but I don't know what body movements they go with.
Because there are those, like we hear of sand snakes.
Yeah.
And they just they're able to like stay above the sand because they move across. They move sideways.
Yeah.
As opposed to slithering forward, in which case they would be just sinking down into the
You're making
sand.
a lot of good points.
Okay, great. I love this.
And then conservation-wise, their least concern, mainly because there's not a lot of throats in very remote deserts.
There's not a lot of throats?
The threats! I guess also throats. There's not a lot of people.
Throats.
I did not say throats. At least
You
I didn't.
absolutely said throats.
Okay, well, at
Check
least I
the
didn't
camera.
say that 33 degrees Celsius was just above freezing.
You agreed with me for a
I'm
second.
trying to be better at yes-anding you. I really shut you down a couple episodes ago, and I felt bad about it. But yeah, basically they're least concerned because there aren't people around. So that is the Arabian sand boa. Show your friends. No one will believe it's real.
Or just draw it and it is real.
And then you're like, I'm an amazing artist.
I know how to draw a sand boa.
Aren't I fantastic?
Thank you for sharing
You're
the sand
welcome.
boa.
Sorry, another worm-like animal to put into your
I think it's perfect.
repertoire of.
Well, it's kind of like how I've
Wildlife.
spent the majority of our last several episodes in Australia. You know?
That's true. That's true. You had a wombat. No, you didn't. You had a numbat. No, you didn't.
Neither of those things.
You had a bandicoot and a quoll.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think I had something else in Australia.
Jesus.
I
Oh,
know.
the spider.
The sparkle muffin spider.
Yes.
Yes.
So try a different continent there, Maggie.
Well, I have this episode, and that brings us to our next animal.
Ooh, I am going to restart the cameras and potentially change batteries.
Okay. Okay. So, are
Teaches time.
you ready for my animal?
Never.
Okay. Here is your hint. Also,
Finally. Oh, yeah, you're probably fucking around with the microphone. What's new?
me fucking around with the microphone? I don't think so. Okay. So, this animal is what you get when Barbie is craving ice cream.
The fuck kind of clue is that?
I
You were
could've-
mad at my clue?
I could have said that about your clue.
When Barbie is craving ice cream.
Uh-huh. And then, following that, I wrote in my notes, okay, that wasn't a good hint.
Good. At least you're honest with yourself.
And then I wrote, it's, and then you started recording this episode, and I had no chance to think of a better
okay.
clue.
Now it's my fault for wanting to get things moving.
100%.
With Barbie, when she craves ice cream.
Or cereal, or soup.
Oddly enough, none of this is helping. Barbie.
Okay.
So pink?
There you go. Great start.
Something sweet? No,
No.
soup isn't sweet. It should not be sweet. Pink. Shh. Ollie. He's like, you put something on my chair.
Wow.
Big yawn.
A really big yawn.
He
made
yawns and like his whole head shakes.
he made a noise with that. He was like, chomp.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Okay,
you.
so you said pink, and then think of
Ice cream soup. Okay, something
Or
with
cereal.
something with a bowl. A spoon? Oh, is it a roseate spoonbill?
yes.
Fuck. Okay. I'm glad I got there.
I knew you would get it.
Woo.
So I'm doing the roseate spoonbill.
Oh, I fucking love this bird.
This is a bird, as Ashley just said.
Sorry. Spoiler
So
alert.
its Latin name is Platalea ahaha, or ajaja, or ayaya.
Okay, so I gotta ask. Plata. How do you spell it? P-L.
Platalea.
Does plot have something to do with a flat bill? Because, like, I think of a platypus.
It's Latin for spatula. Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
feel so
I'm sure they had
smart.
spatulas in ancient Rome.
I mean, flat cookware.
Probably
You had to have
They had
it.
to be able to flip eggs.
Right? How
or
else would you make
pancakes.
your pancakes in ancient Rome? Anyway.
Or like
so
flip a
smart.
hamburger, you
Yeah,
know?
you know.
And
Greeks
then
and their burgers. Notoriously.
and then so we just spelled platalea, and then a yaya is AJAJA. And that is it's the word for pink in the indigenous Tupi language of Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah. Pink spatula.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so what is this bird? It's a tall wading bird. If you've seen like a heron, it just imagine a pink version of that with a long bill that's then flattened out in the shape of a spoon. They're often mistaken for flamingos, but the distinct
It's really just because they're pink, though.
it's just because they're pink.
And tall.
They're much shorter than flamingos. They also don't have as long of a neck, and the beak is totally different. Flamingos have a hooked beak, black, and the spoonbill has a skinny, and then it widens out at the end. So they're 80 centimeters high or 2.5 feet, not as tall as flamingos. They're super lightweight, like a lot of large flying birds. Their wingspan's like 4 feet or 120 centimeters. So the roseate spoonbill is one of 6 spoony species around the world.
Is that a technical term?
Yes.
Spoony species.
That have spoons. What was that old Vine YouTube video? Like, Mr. Spoons.
Oh, the salad fingers?
Yeah.
I went, Croc, can you please? 6 o'clock in Seattle, in case anyone was wondering.
You haven't updated it.
No.
What?
I also haven't hung the rest of my photos, if you haven't noticed.
Oh.
There's been a lot going on. Salad fingers.
Yes, that's right.
An old, like, classic YouTube video. I went so long in my life without seeing it, and finally I watched it, and I was like, wish I hadn't watched this.
Classic for millennials.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is the only spoonbill species in the Americas. The rest, the Eurasian, royal, African, black-faced, and yellow-billed occur in Asia, Africa, Europe, and Australia.
To be honest, I didn't know there was more spoonbills. Like, I guess I feel like in the back of my mind I knew.
I'm sure you did.
But
especially if it's called a roseate spoonbill, not just a spoonbill. Like, there have to be others, right?
I guess. I don't know. Burgers are weird.
They're extremely weird. Also, I think you and I have talked about this before. Even though I'm not exactly a bird nerd, I'm a wannabe bird nerd.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So you are a bird nerd. You know birds much better than I do.
I'm out of practice bird nerd.
But you also play Wingspan obsessively.
Fuck yeah, I do.
So I collect coffee mugs,
Uh-huh.
and as much as I love wildlife and I know a lot about wildlife, I have no wildlife mugs. I only have bird mugs. It's really funny.
Well, that's like the distinct thing that I like to collect. I collect a lot of stuff. But like vintage bird glassware, for those of you watching the YouTube video, these are my collection of vintage West Virginia glasses that
They're
have
great.
different birds. I have never had a drink in them ever. I have bird coasters that my sister got for me. Over there, I have these 4 vintage Japanese bird coffee mugs from the 1960s. There's a set of 6. I only have 4, so if we ever find the other 2, I will lose my fucking mind. Anyway, birds. But yeah, bird glassware, I understand.
You're into it.
I get the draw.
Oh my god. The roseate spoonbill is found in the southeastern United States and Mexico, down into central, maybe even sometimes South America. They're found in brackish marshes and marine waters where they...
What, audience? What is brackish? It's where salt water and fresh water mix. They come together.
So... let's see, what I mentioned.
Sorry, did I throw you with my educational
You did. I was ready to
moment?
just list
I'm
everything.
so sorry.
I really appreciate the educational moment. I need to be more
here for the audience.
improvisational.
Yes. And?
Okay, so yes, and while they're in these waters, they fish for aquatic invertebrates. Though, as I mentioned, they're often mistaken for flamingos, and it's because they eat similar foods. As I said, aquatic invertebrates, so they eat crustaceans like crawfish and arthropods and whatnot. But I don't know, it makes them pink. They're social birds that hang out in flocks, and they will associate with other wading birds. However, a lot of people have seen great blue herons or egrets. Ibises are in the same family as spoonbills. They have those long beaks that kind of curve down. Anyway, though they'll be seen with all of these other wading birds, the primary difference in their hunting styles, and this is where the bill comes in.
Yes.
So all of those other birds will just stand very still and very slowly maybe stalk some prey, and then they stab at their prey. These guys will actually just wade through the water. They don't stand still. They'll just walk slowly through the shallows, and then they'll stick their beak into the water and shake their nose really fast, basically creating a whirlpool and disturbing prey so that it's disoriented and disrupted from the shallows, and then they'll scoop it up with their spoon. So it's a different hunting style than all the rest of the wading birds, which is pretty neat. Their mating ritual, I like this.
Sorry.
Yeah?
Does their spoon have like sieves?
No.
Sieves? No? They're
Sieve.
just scooping up. They're not filtering anything?
They're just
There's no
scooping
filter?
it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So as far as I know, I mean, that's the research that I did, right? That's
what scientist Maggie says.
Yes.
Understood.
Mating rituals is, there is some courtship involved, but primarily the male is presenting the female with a stick and shaking it at her.
Oh my God. They're just like humans.
You took the words
Same level
right out of my mouth. Definitely took the words out of my mouth because Can I
just say, in like recent episodes, I feel like our singularity has become like more and more relevant.
Well, yes, and
she's an improviser. Look at that.
So they have a single partner each breeding season. They lay up to 4 eggs. Chicks are then born at some point. I didn't write how long it takes. Who cares? They will get their pink feathers in a couple of years.
Are they born like right when it hits 33 degrees Celsius, which is notoriously right above freezing? They wait for it to be just warm enough. Right after the water has just thawed. It just thawed, and then bam, they're born.
Oh my God.
That's when they hatch.
Once again, when I was paddleboarding the Colorado River, I fell off of my paddleboard in a big gust of wind.
No.
And like some waves. The water was 48 degrees and just stole my breath away. I had to be like, breathe out, Maggie, breathe out, because it's the kind where you're like
constrict. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad.
It's so cold.
Anywho, okay. They sleep while standing, often with one leg up and their face tucked and neck tucked under a shoulder and all things, whatever. My next note was, stop. They go bald as they get older.
Same. I mean, humans.
I'm going bald right now because I have so much stress going on in my life.
Yeah, my shower's just covered in hair.
Oh, it's awful. Okay. They were almost hunted to extinction in the 1800s for their very pretty pink feathers. They are today losing habitat of their wetlands, which are being drained for development and because of pollution. Today, especially in Florida, over the past 20 years, they've been abandoning their longtime nesting grounds, according to the Audubon, Florida's Everglades Science Center. And that's because with rising seas, water has become too deep for them to hunt and too salty for their favored prey. We were talking about this whole brackish mix.
Yeah.
It's too salty now.
Too much salt.
However, that doesn't mean that they're not doing all right as a population. It means they're going elsewhere. So climate change is removing habitat, but creating habitat in other places.
Okay.
So they're actually performing well as a population, and they're kind of this interesting species that various scientists are watching to say, okay, while some animals can't evolve quickly enough amidst climate change, here's one animal that's actually
adapting relatively quickly.
Adapting.
Yeah.
So roseate spoonbills, if you're in Florida, highly recommend, like, go look for them in the Everglades. My parents occasionally see them in their backyard, which is so lovely. And I just think they're just a really unique bird. There's only 6 species of spoonbills.
Yeah, and only one
in the Americas.
Yeah. That's
so
wild.
there you have roseate spoonbills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic Barbie who enjoys some ice cream bird.
I know.
My opinion of them will be forever changed.
Good. I'm glad that I could help you with that.
Yeah. Oh, I love those birds.
So just a reminder, even though we are enthusiasts, we're not scientists, please don't cite us. Do your own research. I think it was very evident in this episode that we are not really exact in our data collection.
33 degrees Celsius. Just above freezing.
Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you like our podcast, please make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a review. I'm talking to all of you regular listeners. Right now, go subscribe and leave us a review.
Mom. Do it.
Why? Because it'll help us reach more audiences, and that's what we're trying to do. We want people to get excited about wildlife, just like you are.
People need to know this information.
Honestly.
They need to know about the Arabian sand boa.
You can find us on Instagram at The Watering Hole Pod. We've got some good clips there.
Yeah.
You should check us out. We're also on YouTube at The Watering Hole Pod. And you can find us on our website. Guess what it is?
TheWateringHolePod.com.
You got it. Tune in next time when we learn about more animals, their biology and habitat, the threats they face, and what people are doing about it.
Peace. Get out of here.